We're happy to have you here. And, just to add some house rules, we don't have any self-promotion or pitching of any kind. This is also a safe space. It's a good place to discuss techniques, troubleshooting problems, and it's really an area where there's no judgment, and we put that aside and we really are focused on the solutions here at Marketo. And then the expectations, don't contact people outside of the user group without their consent. You can see more info here. And as you know, the meeting is being recorded, so if you don't wish to participate in the live session, you can always log off now, and then we'll have the recording available so you can watch at a later time. And then if you have any questions about this, you can always contact us via the email here. I also sent a link over to our Slack group. We're active there, so it's a great way to contact us too. All right, and then if you're not already part of our group, you can go to this site. Then you just have to create an account using the email with your Adobe Marketo Engage account. And then once you've joined the chapter, you'll get all kinds of notifications. And you guys still see my screen? Okay, I just have to move it into a different. You'll get all, now I can look at you while looking at the slides. So that's all right. So what's up?
Go on.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we have a Slack group, and it's a great opportunity too. We're talking about renewals and certification. So we do have a channel in there for studying for the exam. Once you join Slack, it's a matter of going into the left navigation pane and kind of picking those channels that you want to join. Just pick them all. They're all new. So that way you don't miss any conversations. I think everyone goes in general by default, but it's a great opportunity to chat. And heck, if you're in Cleveland, you can join our Slack group too. So then our next topics that we're looking to go into are kind of the Adobe Summit recap coming up, lunch and learn on Marketo Measure, and then maybe we can do a summer meetup. So that being said, this is very open. So we have a registration form, and we'll send out these slides too, so you can click some of these links. Just feel free to after this presentation, throw out some ideas, throw out some questions. We really want this to be driven by you. So we're here with you. Last times we're working through those same problems. So us working together and stuff, it's a great collaborative way to go through this. All right, the Adobe Summit. So this is coming up. I guess renewal always comes up with the summit. There used to be a time when we used to have more in-person things. I don't remember those days, but Adobe Summit was often one of those things you could go to and get certified. What's coming back, they have it in Vegas, so you can see the summit address right there along with the dates. I guess, is anyone planning on going in the call?
Jay and I are going.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I will
going
be
as
there.
well. Our team will be there.
Wow, that's going to be a party. I'm glad you guys are going. Is there anything you're excited to kind of,
I'm just overall excited. It'll be my first summit, and I don't know, I'm just excited because most of the topics, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is all great stuff. So like, maybe I have too high of expectations, but I have high expectations. So.
Their keynote always is over the top. And then the intro, I remember that kind of blew me away. It's like, wow, this is intense. I think you'll love it. That's awesome. You guys are going together. I wonder if you find a way to kind of meet up there when you're there.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm not sure. I mean, I won't be attending Summit. Matt, I'm not sure if you're going, so I don't think either of us will be there, but definitely, like, if y'all end up being able to
Yeah,
find time to
meeting
connect.
each other. Yeah.
Send through the pictures. Would love to see them.
We didn't use the download a letter to convince your boss button, so I wonder maybe I should try that this year. But it's nice, and it's also that's where I first got certified, going in person, and it was a good opportunity to kind of attend those sessions, and then you almost feel like you're on a roll, so it kind of helps you chip away at the initial anxiety. I remember being on the plane and being like, you know, obsessing over getting 100% every time I took the test, and then at the end, you know, it was fine. So I think test anxiety is the biggest problem with these. So hopefully we'll go through some of the slides there now and the renewal coming up. I don't want to meander too much here, but it's a great experience, and enjoy Vegas too while you're there. All right. So there is a B2B marketing track. So there's a super session with Brian Glover. You can basically, when you're on the Summit site, add the whole track. And it's kind of cohesive if you're doing B2B marketing. It does include some other technologies in there. So you can always change up your schedule as you want. They have some in-person sessions and the breakouts. Now, the fun thing about using the track here and the link is if you're attending virtually, which that's awesome that no one is here except Raven and I, you could star all of the sessions, and then they'll send the follow-up recording so you can follow along at a later time. And that's an easy way to kind of locate the sessions that you've been interested in as if you were there. So I was having fun with that. Okay, and then we have the awards. Yeah, Raven, you had mentioned you were reading up about this a little more. I don't have a ton of experience personally with this.
Yeah. So I think this is something a little new that Adobe is doing. I haven't seen too many of these experience maker awards for the time that I've been in the community, and I've been hanging around since about like 2015. I think this is just a opportunity for Adobe customers to pair with, you know, whether you're like in a partner sort of base like myself, or if, you know, you're just working directly with Adobe products, to showcase all of the great innovations that you've created with it. So especially if you're using multiple than one Adobe products, I really encourage you to click the hyperlink on this slide. Like Matt said, we'll send this out afterwards. But they have, it's at least 10 different award categories. There's individual awards you can apply for, as well as team-based awards. And it, you know, you have categories for ways that you have, you know, innovated your operations using Adobe products. How you have been a thought leader for, let's say, marketing best practices within your organization. So there's lots of opportunity there. It could be a good way if you're looking to bolster your personal brand. You'll get a lot of visibility there. And it seems like those who are selected will be invited to an in-person gala June 21st in New York City, TBD. So fun event and networking opportunities there for you too. So if you're looking for some recognition, if you want to showcase some great work that you've done with Adobe products for the last year, definitely come back to this slide and take a look at the award categories.
You gotta say, you know, Jay was so great at this. Our whole team was amazing, and then you have another event to attend. All right. Marketo, Adobe has 3 certifications for Marketo Engage. What was kind of known as the MCA is now known as the Adobe Certified Professional. We'll get into that first when we start talking about renewal, but this is kind of still the entrance level, but you'll notice in the language and how they're recommending the certifications, they are promoting the MCE a lot more. And you can see it in just the tactic and how they're they're giving the free renewals. So we'll get into that in very shortly. But we also have the formerly MCE, which is now longer acronym, but Adobe ACE, Certified Expert, Adobe Marketo Engage Business Practitioner. So this is ideal for 18 months of experience is what they officially are recommending. And then we have the Adobe Certified Master. This is the architect role, and then it really is the highest, it's the level of certification you can get, and we'll get into that a little bit later too, because with the free renewal to MCE, it naturally pushes that question of, we were gonna pay for upgrades anyway for renewals. Doesn't make sense to go for the master certificate, but there are some other considerations to take into account. It's not just a matter of that's the top certificate, but it's, are you going to use the information in there too? I think that's important. So you can visit the links that we'll give you a little later for more information about that. So let's now go into some of the renewals. So a lot of coming in, when you're coming into getting your first certificate, which some of you on the call are doing, renewal right now isn't something you're necessarily thinking about, but a lot of the prep is the same. So as I go through the preparation and kind of information about these certificates, hopefully that'll help, even though you might not be going into the renewal still. So this first level, like I mentioned, is kind of the, it used to be the MCA. If you're taking the exam, 55 questions, really this is kind of aimed at your first use of Marketo, or possibly it might be if you have a company that is trying to train a department and you want everyone to get that initial kind of taste of using Marketo, this might also apply. I mean, really it's the, you can go into the certification, but if you're working in Marketo day to day, I mean, they do recommend that the language in the Adobe Credential program and also on the renewal page, they are recommending that you kind of take the next step and pass the expert level exam. And then by achieving that, your professional certification will also automatically be renewed. So you just have that extra push, I think, this year from Adobe to recommend going for the business professional. I think I've seen at least some people who are very, very new to Marketo, and they might go for the professional, but then in their day-to-day, they're already using most of the techniques that are in the business associate. So something to consider. The little extra prep might be worthwhile, and then you're on the renewal track, because for the professional exam, you would still have to pay the price to renew it at $125, whereas the architect and the I will keep saying MCE because I'm used to it. The business associate one are free renewals. So once you're on that track, it kind of makes sense if they continue with the free renewal too. If you want to start off though, prep for the Adobe Certified Professional, see how you do. We do have the link to the sample test. Give it a shot and keep taking it over and over. If you're getting any wrong, you have an option when you take these sample tests to go through and kind of see your answers, see what the correct answer is, kind of learn from that, come back to it, try it again. You can also take the online readiness questionnaire. This is great if you're just wanting to confirm, am I overqualified for this, or am I, is this me? That would be a good tool to use. And then we'll go 36 out of 55. So the passing mark is pretty lenient for this one too. All right, the Adobe Certified Expert, Adobe Marketo Engage Business Practitioner, formerly MCE. So apologies in advance, I keep saying MCE. So this is kind of the message that we all got in our inbox for those of us who had the MCE, that all right, we don't have to have an additional cost for maintaining our active certification. As noted here, though, this is only offered at the certified expert and master level, and there isn't that professional level renewal exam. Although, as we saw on the last slide, if you had professional level and you took the certified expert exam, that is an option. So if you have any questions, technical questions, here are the actual emails, but you can also just ask us. You can probably explain things better than, as we're going through the slide, on any individual questions. The renewals that they're offering are actually a shorter version. And the nicest thing about it is I could take them after work, at a time that's convenient to me. You don't necessarily need to kind of worry about. I remember during COVID, it was rough because I had to arrange everything in my room, perfectly. Had to, erase my whiteboard, and you had to really. The proctored exam does have some requirements before you take it to make sure you're focused. So by renewing this way, it's on demand, and it kind of makes you feel a little more comfortable too as you're going through. But this is, again, meant only for those who have the existing credential that is about to expire. So take it before you hit the expiration date. You can't get the initial certification by passing the renewal exam. And then I wanted to do the process before I talk about it. So, last night I just kind of went through. It's super easy. If you're already within Renewal, you're probably on the new Adobe Credential Management System. So it's nice that, if you saved your password, you can log back in. It's a matter of going up to the top bar, just clicking Renew, and then going into Adobe Marketo where it's listed under Renewals. And I'd also recommend taking the sample. So I'll show you how to get to the sample. But then once you're ready, you literally just go into the exam and you click here, and it'll go through some security stuff, so your browser, but it's open book too. So that's also a great feature of the renewal exam. What'll happen is if you're taking, I'd recommend, if you don't have a second monitor, it might help to hook one up, or just use tabs too. And then have the Marketo documentation handy. So you're able to look up anything you might have flagged that you really want to be sure on. So that, that much like real life, anytime we encounter a problem and, we need to look it up, it's that option. So they also have a prep guide. So if you click into the certification renewal exam prep guide, they'll give you a little more details if you're not ready yet to take the actual exam. So anyway, once you click that, it's a matter of, literally about an hour later, success. So what I like about the test is if you thrive in that problem solving and you've just been using Marketo, it's a little more intuitive in terms of not asking you for rote memorization of menu icons and some of the things that is daunting to people who don't like tests. So it's pretty seamless to get to that point. And then you get a provisional afterward, you'll get a provisional certificate, and then they recommend not taking the test again. So if you're starting to nerd out and you're like, oh, I could do better, let's try to get a harder or a better score. It actually tells you not to retake it while you are in provisional status, just because that could confuse things. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an idea of kind of the, how easy it is really to, once you're in that renewal stage now, to keep it going. This is so much better than having to schedule again and go through that proctored process. Also, you may take the exam up to 3 times. So that's pretty neat. So if you still, you can't get there, you have to wait 30 days. So I guess if you're anxious about it, take the test maybe 45 days before your renewal deadline. And then if you needed to, you could always come back to try again. So it's only 40 questions. I think something to keep in mind is this is really designed for renewal and newness. So think about what has been introduced in Marketo that's complex, new, or possibly what are just some patterns that you're always looking in documentation for. Like I've stood up a few instances and there's always that initial setup of, how do you handle some of the parameters like UTMs and, hidden fields and forms for integration. So, think of these kind of topics and I think you'll do well. Consider the new features recently. Take and retake these sample tests. Executables is another great example of a very complex feature that is introduced, this year and has all kinds of, ins and outs that that process introduces. Keep a library of your incorrect answers, topics, both for your knowledge later and just so you can go back to. And then, it's pretty straightforward. If you just want to locate the exam and if you haven't signed up for MCE yet or any certificate, you can go and still get your Adobe credential. You can go, it's really kind of hard to locate from there, but if you go to scheduling, you can scroll all the way down and then look for the last entry. There's a screenshot right here, Adobe Certification Exam Prep Portal. Once you click into that, basically the portal, which looks something like what I screenshot below, will appear and it helps you with PDF guide. I also gave you links to those sample tests, and these are the new sample tests. So they're taking into account all the screenshot configurations now that they offer in the tests. You can get a little calculator you can use. It's kind of neat. It's a fun experience if you like that kind of thing. And then that leads me to the MC essay used to be what it's called. Now it's basically the Adobe Marketo Engage Architect Certified Master. This one also has a sample test. So, and the online readiness questionnaire is good for seeing if your kind of current experience matches up. And I think that's important for this one to really make that decision. If you're renewing, it would be free. However, unfortunately, this one, they don't offer the on-demand experience like the business associate. Sorry, I'm still stumble on the name of it, but the certified expert one offers, but it does have 2 options. You can proctor it through PSI or Examity, and then I would take the sample questions first, and then ask to what is the Marketo Engage architect? Are you hungry for more? I was curious, so I just took the tests. I wanted to see because I really do like situational based tests. But looking at would you use it, or are you in a position to build and create complete business systems? If you're not right yet there, this might not be a good fit, especially if your business is this is the first time you'd be going for it. It would come at a cost. So if your business is picking up for you, would it be something that they get that value out right away, or is just going for the expert? certification worthwhile, plus maybe picking up a CRM certification or other kinds of combinations of courses. So definitely try out those sample tests first. The questions are relatively long and it's kind of a problem solving based approach. So be prepared for that. And then they are aligned with Marketo product and experience. So that's another thing to take into account. So, you know, will you be in a marketing automation auditing role in your current job? Or are you looking to kind of drive that platform strategy? And is your business adopting the Marketo all features approach? You know, is it using RCE? Are you really going strong into lifecycle modeling? Things like multi-product funnels. Do you have a flow chart drawn out that sales understands and you would be in a position to work with them? So, you know, some of those topics are good to think about. It's not a requirement. And then also, you know, have a little technical background too, because you know, things like understanding APIs, when to call a webhook, you know, deliverability, troubleshooting. Over time, you can pick up those ins and outs, but it is, I'd say, the architect sounds like it would be like a code-based thing or something for IT, and it really is more of a problem-solving strategy and kind of solutions development kind of exam. I don't think we have anyone on the call who's taken it for a discussion if you have an idea, but yeah, happy to ping the group, maybe see if we have any ones who are architects who'd be willing to talk to it. But just based on what we can tell in the prep and, you know, online about it, this is kind of a rough description. So that's all I have on renewals. Before we get into trivia though, were there any kind of questions on preparing for the exam? The kinds of things to use to study for, or, you know, I kind of want to open it for any discussion on what we just went through.
You said you're gonna send the slides out.
Yes, I will.
Okay, I think that would be helpful. There's a lot of like links and information in there I'd like to have, so thank you.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I first, I guess I'm now 3 times doing this. The first time I did this, I found really helpful. There's a Quizly app, and somebody had loaded all kinds of questions into the Quizly app, and I found myself really liking it because it was a way to kind of check off all your flashcards. You could do it on the plane as you're heading out to get certified, and then you could add your own questions in there based on after taking those practice tests and kind of looking at the ones that you needed to review. So Quizly was the name of that app, which was kind of helpful. And yeah.
I've heard there is some folks too that are looking to get certified for the first time. I'm actually looking to complete my recertification by August. So if there's anyone on the call today that wants to, you know, I don't know, meet up once a month and run through practice exams together, or, you know, just touch base on different Marketo concepts, I'd love to collaborate with you. I need to do my recertification, and I go through the same process of and I think I've done certification 3 times now. And every time I go through that process of taking the practice exam. So yeah, if you're interested and you want to like pair up together for studying, let me know. We'd love to get a little thing together, maybe in our Slack group.
I'd love to do it too. Just look at the questions again. You know, the thing about the questions too, they are kind of geared toward highlighting some ins and outs of using Marketo, and then with the renewal especially, I like that you can look it up. That directs you then into the knowledge base and into some of those champions who have really thoroughly answered the question and kind of the ins and outs and reaction of the community to their specific scenarios. So that's another good feature of the renewal, is it kind of really promotes that community and some of the troubleshooters who you probably normally go to anyway as you're encountering a scenario. So All right, that's my that's my spiel, but it's a lot of fun. So
I think since this covers the content portion, I mean, trivia is just really this, we kind of set it up as an informal way to try to hopefully generate some conversation networking between us. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. Don't think the rest of this would be helpful to have. So I'm going to stop there. And then